So to kick this off tonight, we're going to be launching into our tech chat series. These are our one-on-one Q&A, kind of conversational chats. And Napolean Biggs, who has been with us as a moderator many times, is going to be coming up, and he's going to be interviewing one of our superstars here in Hong Kong, Eric Gnock Fah from Klook Travel. And we've chosen these entrepreneurs to do the tech chats for several reasons, which I'm sure you're going to hear more about when Napoleon comes up here and does the Q&A with Eric. So Eric and Napoleon, why don't you come up and take a seat? Thank you.
Good evening. Hello. Have a seat then. So how many of you have used, his app? 1, 2. Okay, by the end of tonight, hopefully you'll triple that. So I just looked at Twitter, and in order, you describe yourself as, you told me it was Klook, not Klook, right? It's not Klook, by the way, or Cluck. It's Klook, which we'll find out later. And it's described as book and discover, #amazing, things to do at key destinations across Asia. Get our app today. And I'm not going to read out the URL because it's got lots of letters and numbers. So tell us, what is Klook in your mind, and what does it do? Because the best thing about your brand is the Chinese name.
Yes, well, yeah, the name actually came from the Chinese name, which is Klook, right?
Which for people who don't speak Chinese means?
It means traveler on the road, yes, or guest on the road. So that's how, Chinese, English name came about, and to us we thought about, hey, it's Klook, it's more like keep looking. So keep looking for, amazing experiences for everyone to participate in, experience.
But isn't Asia full of amazing experiences? You can just kind of turn up on a street in Taipei and you find stuff. Why would they need your app?
Absolutely, but the whole booking experience is actually very troublesome, which is very behind as compared to flights and hotels. People get very frustrated. There's a language barrier. There's price not being transparent and so forth. So that is where we come in as that platform offering a booking service for all sort of in-destination services.
And who is your target audience? Is it expats? Is it people coming from America to Asia? Who are you targeting?
Surprisingly, most of our destinations right now are in the Asia Pacific region, but our user base is as well as in Asia. So short haul travel, boomed by the budget carriers, has really picked up. So that's really giving us the growth in Asian travelers.
So is it mostly from China? Are you pulling in people from China, or is it India or Southeast Asia?
Actually, all over the place. China is about 20% of our user base. Then you're talking about Hong Kong, Taiwan, the whole Southeast Asia is basically remaining. Yeah.
So right now, what's the division between the countries?
Hong Kong, Taiwan together is about 30 to 40%.
Okay.
So Greater China, you can call it, is around 60%. And then you have Southeast Asia, Singapore, Philippines, obviously is the leading one because right now we offer mainly English. And then, soon we'll be launching other languages as well.
And how do you're a marketplace, is that right? You're a marketplace between the people who have stuff, activities to sell, and the people looking for it. Is that how it works?
You can. I will call it more of an e-commerce platform.
Okay.
Less so of an actual marketplace, because marketplace is where people just come and list by themselves.
Yeah.
We actually integrate with the supply side, because while we solve the problem with supply in the in-destination services is actually very backwards. People are still doing pen and paper. You have big
So you're replacing a concierge kind of role?
Sort of.
Yeah.
But with really technology behind and really help these operators upgrade their systems so that we can offer the most seamless experience to the user.
So you gave me an example when we were on the phone. You said that one company here that was quite slow at doing this was the Peak Tram. Now, I'm sure you've all been on. Has everybody been to the Peak on the tram? Yeah. Yes? Twice? 3 times? Cousins? Drunk? Handsome? I was gobsmacked, kind of, when you said that they had a problem with integrating into, people buying trips. Could you kind of give us an example of how it works?
Sure. Peak Tram, those type of operators, for us, all our mid-tier, mid-sized operators,
Yeah.
you'll be surprised to know that a lot of them actually don't have a ticketing system. So
Peak Tram doesn't have a ticketing system?
No, so they were literally only selling physical tickets.
Okay.
Which is really, nowadays, who else still use physical tickets, flights and hotels, everything is all e-tickets. So we had to come in and help them build the e-ticket solution and basically launch it for them. So right now we are the only, I guess, platform that allows you to buy an e-ticket to Peak Tram, to cable car at Hong Kong, or all the way to Sentosa in Singapore, those type.
But that must be a nightmare, going and integrating into all these systems. Do you have like a whiz-kid tech team that are very patient?
Yes, we do. I mean, our tech team right now is based mainly in Shenzhen. So we're very strong on the technology side. We
Why
actually
Shenzhen? Why not Hong Kong or KL or Singapore?
I would say I think China has really taken the lead in technology over the past few years. I think this is pretty much a proven fact. So we find them to be really able to produce something of really high quality in terms of technology and reliable. Because if you think about it, right, everything that technology companies produce in China, we are serving technically 1 billion people.
So it's all mobile focused, is it? Because it's China, are you launching it in mobile before desktop?
Well, we did launch desktop first, and then we launched mobile. But very quickly, we've switched to almost a mobile-first company because 80% of our bookings actually now happen on mobile.
So you and Jack Ma meet regularly. He's around 82%, right?
Yes,
Double singles.
Yes, very similar count percentage. But as I mentioned earlier, China is only 20% of our user base or revenue, which means that it's the same phenomenon that we're seeing outside of China as well. The whole Asia.
And you're an ex-banker, right?
Yes, I was.
So what happened? You made too much money and you go, God, I just want to travel the world and find myself?
Yes, no, I did a few years in banking.
You can say yes, it's okay.
Well, to me, it was more about getting different perspectives on things. Because I did a few years for banking, and then I moved on to hedge fund for a few years, from sell side to buy side, and I'm thinking, hey, how about really understanding how businesses that we were working with, how do they grow and how do we become those giants? So to me, the first kind of light bulb was changing different perspectives on things.
But how does that light bulb turn into Klook?
Well, travel, I would say one is definitely out of interest. Coming from Mauritius being a very travel destination, so I've always had the roots in there. Second, we were really definitely looking from a business angle. What type of business model is technically most scalable? Especially in Asia where you're cross-border, right? And each market in itself is rather small, except China or technically Indonesia. So travel to us was more of a business where we know that it's easier to scale because in nature, it is already a cross-border business.
Yeah.
So
what's the unit? Being an ex-banker, every business has a core unit that it values it on. What is your core unit? In retail, it's an SKU. Where in flights, it's bums on seats. Or beds, what's your core unit, or is it not?
Our core unit is based on the number of travelers that we serve. Okay. So since we started in late 2014, we've served over 2 million travelers already.
Since 2014?
Yes.
End of 2014?
End of 2014.
2 years?
Yes, just about 2 years.
Okay.
So we serve around 2 million visitors.
Okay. 2 million people have bought stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
And join our experiences.
Okay.
So we're not talking about just the traffic website or the ad website type. So we've definitely grown quite fast, but the market is still quite...
And you make money when somebody buys something? Or you make money for helping somebody like the Peak Tram have a ticketing system?
No, we make money technically when someone buys it. So
it's all results driven?
Right, so it's more of a commission basis.
So I heard a big number the other day, which these startups here probably would be rather gobsmacked here. You're making how much money? Or your turnover?
Latest, yes, $100 million US.
In 2 years?
Yes.
That's not bad.
Not fast enough.
Yeah,
that's
not
what
fast
I get from investors. Not from
yeah, they always say that. So what do they want you to do in 2 years then? 500 million?
Well, in 2 years, I think they are hoping that this business can go IPO soon.
Really?
That's the dream.
And do you think it's all about timing? I mean, we've got the Tokyo Olympics, we've got the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics.
Well,
do you think it's all about the fact that Trump is going to make everybody leave America and come to Asia? That's going to boost your business.
Well, we are seeing huge growth this month. I wonder if that has anything
Is it traffic from America?
We definitely see. Well, naturally, during the November, December, it is a little bit more on the Western visitors. So we are seeing that. Or is it a Trump effect, or is it a holiday effect? Not exactly sure, but maybe it has something to do with it.
So tell us a bit about how you raise money. Some money kind of people here, right? Being an ex-banker, you probably have just a few phone calls and it's done, right? Or is it a bit more complex? Did you have to go and pitch?
Definitely. But I'll be very surprised. You'll be very surprised to know that most of our investors somehow actually approached us. Those that we actually approached, somehow
They approached you
Yes.
because they just go, 客路那么好, they just want to invest.
Well, the number how I think happened actually on the product. So, for example, our lead investor, Matrix Partners, they actually found us because we were listed as one of the best new app on App Store when we launched the app a year ago, including in
That was
China.
done by the editors. No one of the.
No, it's Apple. Yeah. I wish we do that, but no, we don't. So most of our investors, both our lead investors actually, saw how we were growing, saw our feature on the App Store, and then actually approached us, and that actually quickly materialized.
And I'm curious about the marketing side of things. How do you get people to know your app? I mean, I met you and I interviewed you, so I downloaded it, but not everybody has that privilege. What's the best way to get people to know, what you're offering? Is it going nuts on WeChat in China? What is it that makes?
Well, WeChat and some of the social new media, what we call it in China, we are actually growing very fast and gathering, a huge fan base on that.
Okay.
But as well as
we just sharing destination content with people, or
yes, destination content. I mean, there's this huge outbound interest travel now. People looking for more unique, differentiated type of experiences, in China. So we very much excel in that space. Outside of China, we've excelled very well, excelled in some great partnerships that we had. Let's say Asia Miles, after you redeem a flight, you'll be prompted whether you want to book an experience with Klook using your miles.
So that's interesting. Your source of customers is coming from partners, right?
Some of them.
Because that's always a challenge for a startup, is getting distribution.
Yes.
So are your investors in the business? Did you get any strategic investors that have connections into the travel industry?
Well, I would say one of our key partner did come from our investor base. So we work very closely with WeChat.
Okay.
Through the WeChat wallet app, now you can book experiences it's basically a window into our website.
So you're on one of their tiles?
Right. Well,
Excellent.
3 of their tiles actually. From
Okay.
transport,
3,
travel.
not 1, 3.
Yes, 3, gladly. And I mean, that was a relationship that we built from our angel investor who was the e-commerce CEO of Tencent. So that's how we reached out to them. But
That's remarkable. So would your advice to a startup be, don't bother with going direct to the consumer, go to partners first?
No,
Because
I mean,
you've got having people like WeChat is no mean feat, right? I mean, that's easier than buying keywords on Baidu or buying.
we still do that. But I would say, partners is great to get your name out there, to start building momentum and awareness. But end of the day, I don't think partnerships with partners can really build you that billion-dollar business. Because if they can help you build that billion-dollar business, I think they will build it themselves, right?
Are you not scared that might happen with Tencent?
No.
Many startups in China call them the sharks, right? So they're worried. You're not worried that they might take
the
part of
VAT,
money?
the VAT, right?
Yeah.
They basically own everything. No, because end of the day, partners, as what we were discussing, only really accounts for, I would say, less than 20% of our user acquisition strategies, right?
Even WeChat. So you have WeChat, you have Asia Miles.
Asia Miles,
Do you have
plenty of them.
Ctrip or
We do work with Ctrip.
do you work with TripAdvisor, or are they considered?
We don't work with TripAdvisor.
Okay.
Yes, but we work with airlines like Cathay Pacific, Air Asia, Tiger, and so forth. But those are more of a marketing campaign type of partners. A lot of growth actually comes from product growth. Really, close to 30% of our monthly growth come from existing users referring.
So what's the most popular activity in Taipei? Because I'm going there in December.
Well, but definitely is the hot spring. Now that's winter. Yeah, at one of the related chateau, which is onsen, which is only less than 200.
So you collect data as well. Is data an important part of your business model? I mean, is it just the transaction, or are you collecting enough data that you could almost advise an investor what to invest in if they're going to buy a hot spring or a curry powder ski slope?
Well, we definitely can see that. So there has been some kind of real estate investors that come to it because end of the day, a lot of the operators actually own businesses, right? Like Peak Trend, like real estate assets as well. So we can see what is kind of the up and coming one or those that have great potential. So those type of data we can definitely collect and actually use that to personalize the experience for the user. So
is that what you'd go IPO on, is the data rather than the experience? Where do you think the value is, really?
End of the day, it's for revenue.
Revenue.
Yeah. The data, it's a far-fetched thing that when you are at the price line type of scale, I think the data will really come in and be very useful, right?
Yes.
At the earliest stage, I think it's good to really gather those data and start thinking about how to use those data, but I don't think it's going to make a huge difference.
So you're not nervous in the distribution channel that you don't own the end customer? Does that not worry you?
No, we do.
You do.
We do. So what I was saying is the partners is basically just a cross-promotion partners. So end of the day, for example, on WeChat, you know you are booking on Klook on our website. You will receive the email, the confirmation from us.
Okay.
So
you still own the experience.
We own the experience.
So we've
own the
got
data.
40 seconds left. What would be a piece of advice to these guys to hit $100 million in 2 years? That's bloody good. They're over there. You can talk to them.
Well, I think end of the day, it's a team. Definitely, it's a team. It's the execution that you put together. I mean, I was glad that we started with 3 people. Now we're 150 people. It's about how to set the structure from when you are close to 30 to 50 people, so that it can efficiently run. It's no longer entirely reliant on the founders, but on the business model, on the structure that we've set to.
So what's unique about your team? We're running out of time.
Well, the fact that everyone is actually local, but at the same time, it's a global mindset to run a global business, which is travel in itself is a global business.
So where can we find you? To download the app now, where the URL is?
Just App Store/Klook. You will get it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.